Okay, so let's begin by creating a new project. What I'm going to do here is I'm just closing out of the file that I was in. I won't bother saving the changes that I made there. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. On this welcome screen you can say new project, and what it does is it looks for the default template that's delivered with the product, which you can see doesn't have as much information in the project as you had in that finished house design. The other way though in an office is that you very often go here and go new project and then browse to find the template folder, because an office may well have templates for different types of a building. So for example, if I pick on the residential and I do that, watch what happens here in the project browser about the content that's in this project file. So someone has already set up the template with different floor plans ready to be created, or different, maybe even different families for use in the project. So if you had maybe an office that's specialized in hospital buildings, the chances are they're going to have a hospital template. I'm going to close this, so I'm just back in my default template. This is the one we're going to work from, so it's really the simplest beginning that we can make. I'm going to suggest that the first thing that we want to do is create datum elements. The datum elements are things like levels and grids. The levels I would create first, because these are the objects in your model that control, say, the bottom and top, or the location of objects. In other words, if you're looking at the illustration, I could have a footings level and a parapet level, and when I draw a wall I say I want the base to be on the footing and I want the parapet to be on, to go all the way, the wall to go all the way up to the parapet. So the easiest way to create those is actually to go to an elevation view. This is how I want you to start. First thing is I'm going to suggest that we need some more levels than what we have in our template, and the easiest way to produce this would be to, on the Home tab, to go to the level command. I'm going from the left to right, and you see that I can put in a new level there. Now it's important to note that the if this checkbox is on, this here is called the options toolbar. So when you pick a command, you'll see options for the command appear up here. When I place this, and I can also align it with the end of my other levels here, I'm just drawing this in my model. And what I want to point out to you is that the level has a blue symbol there if there's going to be an equivalent floor plan created automatically on the browser. So level 3, and because I'd said create a floor plan from the level, it's got this shown in the browser. If alternatively I had said something like this, where I said check that off, and I'm going to put a level up here, you'll see that it gives you a blue icon. That means that, you know, this is something you want in the model to control objects in the model, but you're not going to have a floor plan for this. These are parametric, so if you see, you can give them a name that means something. I'm going to suggest we call that parapet, and I'm going to suggest that we change this and call it footing. And you'll also, and it'll ask me, hey, do you really want to do that, because you're changing it up here. To be honest, don't understand why it asks you that. I wouldn't be changing the name if I didn't want to change it up there. Also though, notice that the heights, if I said, okay, the frost in Wisconsin is severe, maybe I want to make sure my footings are at least 4 feet into the ground, or if I was in putting a building in somewhere else, maybe in parts of California, I might be doing something like that. I'm also going to Control Z back, or I can do undo to go back and redo to go forward again in the changes that I'm making. So I'm also going to suggest, let's call this street level, and let's take this and call this mezzanine. Right. And I'm looking at my heights and I'm thinking it from my street level entry floor plan to my, made a mistake there, well, my mezzanine level is going to be 10 feet. Let's actually bump that up a bit. Let's say that would be 12 feet. And then to the parapet height of my building, notice that I can just drag this up. I'm going to say make that something like 23 feet. Now, a couple of other things I just want to point out about the labels here is that you can select a level, and looking at the label at the end here, this checkbox lets you turn on and off the display of the label itself. Also, if you click on it, you'll see these clear circles. If I do something like drag, so I'm holding down in on the left mouse button, I'm just dragging it to the left, you can see that I can drag this over, and when it's lined up here, I can see it because of the kind of helpful alignment lines that I get here. So for example, if I wanted the label on that side, I could turn it on, and if I didn't want it, I could turn it off in my south elevations. And that's pretty much where I want you to go. You can have a capital M here. I didn't get a capital M because I'm using a software to capture this, and it's not letting me put a capital M in there because the other product has that reserved for some options within the capture software. Okay, so this is basically where I want you to be after drawing the levels, and I want you to do the levels before you do anything else.